Hey everyone, it's Mary, the host of your 90 Days and 900 Seconds podcast, and I'm here to bring you season 5, episode 14, Disappearing Act, which I think should have been titled Fight or Flight, and I'll tell you why. So let's jump right in. So we begin with Jasmine and Gino, the only redeeming couple of this season, in my opinion. So we start off with the day of the argument, and it's hours. It's been hours after the argument, and Gino has disappeared, and Jasmine's worried. Jasmine looks concerned. Gino is gone, and she's like, I'm going to go look for him. She's never seen Gino like this before. And even though she's pissed off at him, she, really loves him and she wants to go find him and make sure he's okay. And, Gino's upset because he feels like that Jasmine doesn't trust him, and it's hopeless because Jasmine doesn't trust him and she keeps harping on all of these past mistakes that he made. So Jasmine finds him, and she tells him she really loves him, and she basically pours her heart out to him and tells him that during lockdown he was really there for her. She felt so hopeless at times during the lockdown, and they talked every day, and he was really there for her emotionally, and she really loves him. And guys, I had a tear in my eye. She was sobbing, and she was just pouring her heart out, sobbing to him. And I felt it. I felt it at that moment, guys. I really did. I felt it at that moment. So she's talking. She's expressing her love to him, and they're hugging, and they're like, okay, we're gonna start over fresh. And I'm really glad. I just want on a side note, because during that scene, Gina wasn't showing much emotion. He was like, I love you, and they were hugging. But Jasmine was literally sobbing in his arms. And, compared to the level of emotion that Jasmine was showing at that point and the level of emotion that Gina was showing, it wasn't really, you know, equal. So I was glad during the confessional that he really he started to cry. So, that made me happy. So anyway, next day, it's hot springs day. So Gino and Jasmine are going to go hang out in the hot springs. They get in the water. Gino's still wearing his hat, of course, because, he's not going to take his hat off to go in the water. And so then they're walking around. It's pouring rain. Beautiful scenery, beautiful mountains. I love the dress that Jasmine was wearing. She fucking rocked it. And then she turns around and Gino's on his knee. But the one question I have is, why was the ring facing him and not her? But that's Gino. I mean, the whole proposal was totally Gino. So he proposes. She's like, of course. And then, he turns to the producer and he's like, we just got married. No, 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 I'm sorry. No, no, that's not right. Totally, typical Gino. And when they asked Jasmine if she liked the ring, Jasmine's like, I love the ring because this is a typical Gino ring. And that was such the right answer. And when she says love isn't logical, she is absolutely right, guys, because love is not logical. You will love who you love no matter what your heart tells you. Take it from me. You will love who your heart wants you to love. No matter what your head tells you, you will love who your heart wants you to love. So, moving on. I really hope that these two have their happily ever after. So, moving on to a couple. So, I'm sorry. This couple goes under the category of fight because they fought for their love, and this is why they are where they are now. Next, Kim and Usman. Hey. Kimberly. I'm sure that she's really a nice person, but her desperation is reeking through the TV more and more every week, and she just needs to stop. I mean, I'm sure in real life real life. She's a nice person, but she's not doing herself any favors. So we start off after, she drew the drink on him, and Usman is, sitting there looking all thoughtful and pensive and shit. And Badmus and Slam T come, and they're like, yo, what's up, bro? And he's like, Kimberly's bugging out. She poured water on me. And Badmus is totally concerned about the whole situation because, what if there was someone there and they saw him and they took a video? It could ruin his whole career. Not like the whole baby girl Lisa situation couldn't have ruined his whole career, but whatever, Badmus, whatever. So Soldier needs time to think, because Kimberly told him that if he wanted to prove his love, he needed to do something big. So he needed time to think. So Kimberly's in her room. She's in her resort robe. She's packing. And the producers are like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm leaving. That's it. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. She's Mama Debbie done until ding. She got the text from Usman. And she's like, oh my goodness. He wants me to meet him at the bar. What should I do? Oh my goodness. You know damn well she texts him back. When? Oh my goodness. Now. I'm having a hot flash. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Woman, I could see the smell of desperation. So she, gets dressed in her finest and goes to meet him. And she gets her ultimate fantasy, a private concert from Usman. And we, the viewers, get exposed to another Usman song. This man has promoted a whole album on 90 Day Fiancé, as one of our followers tweeted tonight. Promoted a whole fucking album. I swear, guys. I mean, if you think about it, we've heard at least 2-3 songs this season. The baby girl Lisa song. He promoted a whole fucking EP on 90 Day Fiancé. Like, what the fuck? So anyway, he's, you make me hydrate. You make me vibrate. She's soaking this all up. He wrote this song for some other chick. And she's soaking it all up. Oh my goodness. This is his big profession of love. They kiss, they make up. He's thinking the whole time, Kimberly, please leave my MacBook Pro and my necklace, don't take it with you. And that was the whole reason he gave it a private concert, because he wanted his necklace and his MacBook Pro back. So she's like, I don't want to go back to having a long distance relationship. This is really going to suck. And he's like, I want you to come to Nigeria to meet my mom. It didn't work out so well with my first wife, but I want to bring you to Nigeria to meet my mom, which means he wants to secure his next season. Anyway, so this falls under the category, unfortunately, of fight, because Kimberly is trying to fight for her love with Usman, but Usman is going to run far, far away from her as he can, and what he's done, getting everything he can out of her. So, moving on, Memphis and Hamza, and all I have to say is shaking my damn head, because this woman, remember how upset she was at Hamza for not having his shit together when they were going to the embassy? Well, she should have had her shit together about this prenup, okay? Hamza should rip her new asshole. So anyway, it's the morning of the pre-wedding celebration, and she's not there because she spent the night at the hotel because she had to think about this whole situation, that she can't get a prenup 2 days before she's about to get married in Tunisia from an attorney in Michigan. Like, I don't know how she thought this was going to work. So Hamza's looking all, worried and thoughtful because he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And Memphis, she's at the hotel and she's like, oh, this is going to be a hard decision. Hamza's family is really trying to make me feel included and loved. And once you've never really felt love in your life and you get it, it's a great feeling. And I understand all that. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But I mean, practicality, she shouldn't have waited until 2 days before the freaking wedding to try to get a prenup, especially since she has been so hard on Hamza about being responsible. Well, hello, this was part of your responsibility because you wanted it. So, anyway, so she gets back to the house, and Hamza's family's there, and Hayat and Rawa, they looked beautiful. Beautiful. So they're there, they're doing their pre-wedding celebration, everyone's dancing. She gets all dressed up in, her first outfit of the day. She goes on the horse and buggy ride to the spa. They do the whole cleansing thing. Everybody's, dancing and doing this whole ritual. They sang a song about uh, a bride is going to catch a fish. She's going to grill it. She's going to take the bones and throw it at their enemies. I mean, it was really cool, the whole ritual that they were doing. So she goes, my point is, she goes through this whole thing. She gets back to the house. She talks to her mom. She tells her mom that she's not able to get the prenup, that she's going to have to do the post-nup. Okay, so she waits this whole time, and then she tells Hamza's sister that she wants to speak to them, so the sister could translate. And then that's when she brings up the post-nup. And I don't blame Rawa, I'm sorry, for being pissed off because, like she said, you wait until the night before to bring this up. Like, what the fuck? But of course, Hamza wants to make her happy, and he agrees to sign it. So, I don't know. Girl, you should have been better prepared. So this one I will put under fight because obviously Hamza is fighting for this relationship. But girl, you need to get your shit together. Moving on to getting your shit together, but there is no way that he could get his shit together, in my opinion, is Ben and Mahogany. So we're going to condense this because I'm so sick of this storyline. So basically, Mahogany was embarrassed by Ben not showing up to breakfast because her parents were there. And what the fuck? Standing her up is standing her parents up. So, her dad is not going to meet him. Her dad's like, I don't know, we'll see, whatever. So, her dad tells Mahogany, I think Ben is too old for you. And Mahogany's like, I think he's kind of immature. So moving on, Ben is sitting at a table looking like, I don't know, some fucking wannabe cowboy getting ready to ride a donkey because he's a fucking ass, okay? And waiting for Mahogany's parents to show up. Mahogany's parents do not show up. Surprise, surprise. And Mahogany comes with a letter. And basically the letter says, I have better things to do. I have a better, a personal reason I couldn't come meet you. So basically, Ben, fuck off. I have no interest. Go away. So he's like, oh, I don't even want to get into these two. Mahogany's pissed off at Ben, and Ben's like, well, you don't want to be here. She's like, no, I don't want to be here. She storms off. The next morning, Ben's like, okay, we're gonna have forced alone time because it's a 4-hour drive to San Bartolo. So he goes to Mahogany's room to get her back, to drive back to San Bartolo because they drove there in her car. Remember this, guys, okay? They drove there in her car. So now he is depending on her for the ride back. So he goes to her room, knocks on the door, and some guy in sunglasses answers. And he's like, oh, Mahogany? And the guy's like, no, my room. So he goes to find out that Mahogany had checked out last night. So Mahogany ghosts his ass for a second time, but this time she leaves him stranded 5 hours away from the fucking airport, 4 hours away from her hometown without a car. So it's going to cost him $250 to get back to San Bartolo, and he's thinking that God is telling him to call it a quits. Yeah, Ben, all signs are telling you to call it a quits. So this one I will put under flight, as in get the next flight home, Ben. So moving on to the next one that should get the next flight home is Mike and Jimena. So we start off with Jimena's talking to her mom. Her mom is asking her, how are things going with Mikey boy? And first she tries to play it off, but then her sister blows her spot. Is like, no, mom, Jimena's always fighting with him. He's not even sleeping in the room with her. He's sleeping in the other room. And her mother's like, what do you mean? You're not even sleeping with the ATM? What's wrong with you? You have to keep him happy, Jimena. And Jimena's like, no, he's a dirty, disgusting pig. He washes his shoes in the washing machine. No, I can't deal with him. And, her mother's like, she's not thinking rationally. And Jimena's like, I'm the biggest saint of them all. I don't do anything wrong. So, next scene, Jimena's mom feels sorry for the ATM. So she offers him some apples. And, Mike asks if he could have a Google Translate conversation with her because he really needs to know what's going on with his girlfriend since his girlfriend won't speak to him. Fiance. So the mom is basically, says that Mike is good for her. She thinks that Mike is, a good guy and that Jimena shouldn't be a cold bitch. But also, Mike should consider that this is her first serious relationship. So Mike is like, oh, thank you for telling me this and, whatever. And the mom's like, you should just keep talking to her so you could work things out, which also means just work things out, Mike, because we can't afford the money to go away. So next scene, they're going to play pool. And they're in the car, and Mike is like, oh, you look so pretty tonight. And she's like, oh, thank you. And he's like, what about me? And she's like, oh, you look the same as always. She is such a cold-hearted bitch, people. I can't even take it. So Mike totally sucks at playing pool, by the way. He fucking sucks ass at playing pool, and I suck ass at playing pool. He's worse than me. So Jimena's like, stop following me around the pool table. I'll learn by myself and whatever. So then they sit down, and so Mike's like, oh, do you enjoy having fun with me? And she's like, having fun with the kids is better than having fun with you. Like, you cold-hearted bitch. Like, she is too much. So he basically tells her, I'm starting to think that your feelings change from me when I stop paying for things. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You still pay my rent. So it doesn't matter if you don't give me money or not. You still pay my rent, so it doesn't fucking matter. So he's like, all right, well, from now I'm not going to give you anything. I'm not going to pay your rent, and and she's like, fine, you could take the money and shove it up your ass. And from now on, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. You do what you want, I do what I want. And Mike is like, fine, so we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. I want to take everything that I bought. And she's like, fine, you want to take everything out of my house? Take it, shove it up your ass. And Mike's like, I can't believe this. And then the scene we were all waiting for, people. Paul, as in Paul and Carini, Paul 2.0 takes off running in Colombia. So, dun, dun, dun. Let's see how it turns out next week, people. And I'm pretty sure next week is probably the season finale, because the new The new season of 90 Day is starting on April 17th, and we all know that the tell-alls are usually 2 or 3 parts. So I would assume next week is the season finale. So thank you for listening to my recap. Please subscribe if you don't already, and have a good night, day, week, whenever you're listening to me. And thanks. Bye.